This is a warning to all MMA podcasts. Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. I am your host, Lance Fishel. First off, join my co-host, who I'll be seeing in a couple days, Jay. Jay, how's it going, man?
Doing great. We got the band back together, so this is it's going to be a pretty good time. I'm pretty excited to head down south of the Mason-Dixon line and show my face in Tennessee and see some good fights this weekend. So have to be excited for that.
Yeah, this is going to be my last show for a couple weeks.
All right. Woohoo!
The ratings are going to just go through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely.
So is the energy.
Next up, Brad, taking the trek down from Canada on Friday to come to Nashville. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I've had a good day today. Today was the first day of my holidays, so went and played a round of golf with the Pops, and driving down to Toronto tomorrow so I can hop on that aeroplane and end up in Nashville.
It was so hot today I almost blacked out walking to the office.
Oh, it was like 19 degrees here today, which is like, 68, something like that.
That's Canada.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was 98, and you could walk across the street and you'd be sweating.
Yeah,
heat wave.
Sour.
But I looked. It looks like it's going to be cold while you guys are here this weekend. It's high of 86 Friday, 90 on Saturday, 91 on Sunday, which is the coldest it's been in weeks.
Frigid.
Mm-hmm.
You should have told me, because I've already packed some stuff. I need to pack a sweater.
Exactly. It's going to be pretty cold. Sean, I don't know what to say about you, really. I don't have anything good to say. I'll say that.
Well, this is a big weekend for me, Lance. I'm glad you brought it up. Me and most of my Twitter friends will be meeting up at my house and having some cake at my kid's princess party.
Which princess?
Fun.
Well, she will be Princess Belle.
Does
like
she like Sophia
the Beast?
Does she want Sophia the First?
Which princess are you going to be, Sean?
She does.
Princess Bride?
No, I will not be a princess, unfortunately.
Do you watch a lot of Sophia the First, Sean?
Right now it's Dora. It's Dora 24/7.
I've seen every episode of Sophia the First at least 12 times now.
I don't know what that is.
It's just never stops.
I'm too, Jay.
Yeah. You guys
it's like they don't I could put an episode on. She could watch it. I could start the same episode over. Excitement level, everything.
Yep, they don't care.
Just watched it.
It's on, so it's good. Yep.
Giggles the same parts.
Watched it! I gotta see this crap again!
Wayne Brady is one of the main characters on it.
Really?
Oh, sorry.
The white dude?
I think so. And then the main character is the girl from Modern Family. The younger girl.
Sofia Vergara?
No, the young girl who's stacked.
Oh, yeah, her.
That's for that is.
I think I can't look at pictures of her. She's still only 16.
She's 17, and those are the biggest tits I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna tweet out that picture.
Ever see on Happily Ever After?
Yeah, Nikki Cox.
Yeah, those were.
They're
at that level.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They compete in the same arena.
Let me send a picture out. Should I put it on Skype or Twitter?
It's up to you.
Twitter.
Probably Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter, dude.
Be Twitter.
Go ahead, get yourself fired.
People look forward to our pictures on Twitter to figure out what the hell we're talking about on the show.
I'll put it on Skype. add photo. Sean, so is that your intro? Do you have anything to say for yourself as far as apologies?
Yes, I'm sorry that you guys can't eat cupcakes with me. I apologize.
It's fine. We'll get over it. I'm gonna eat whiskey. Can you do that?
Right.
Can you eat whiskey?
I can't. No.
All right,
unless it's frozen.
I just tweeted it out.
Let's see what we got here.
Apparently, it's taken a while. This must be a big picture.
This is a big picture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I've seen that one before.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
oh, man.
Is she 18 yet?
I'm gonna reserve. What's her name? Like
Ariel
Winter.
She was born
Areola?
oh my god, she was born in 1998.
There you go.
Hey, in January.
1998.
Yeah, it's legal. At least in my state.
1998. But like, yeah. So I watched this. I've seen this show like over 1,000 times, and this girl her voice, like she makes her voice sound like a 10-year-old. So this girl I hear nonstop all the time talking like a 10-year-old. Then you look her up, you're like, hold on. Oh god,
man. So about other stuff.
The fighting stuff?
The fighting and
so
stuff.
Martin Kampman stepping down as head coach of Team Alpha Male.
Alright,
Jesus
so what's
Christ.
the problem? What's the problem? Who's the asshole?
It's gotta be Faber.
Seems like it's Faber.
It's gotta be Faber. Yeah.
Maybe it
started
it might be Master Thong in the background pulling all the strings. No?
He hasn't been,
Dude,
but
maybe
he's always
it's
off
not.
and on anyway.
Dwayne Ludwig seems like kind of a dick, but maybe it's not him. Maybe what he was saying was true. Maybe these guys just fucking jerk around all the time.
But I mean, can they really? But I mean, think how much
There's too many quality guys for them to be they're not just jerking around, you know. It's not like they're just slack.
Did you see who they're bringing in to be head coach? Kenny Florian.
No.
Kenny Florian? So basically a guy who does the exact same things they already do,
Yeah.
but just not as successful. A guy who couldn't win a title, who was like second best for a while. I guess it's a good fit.
That doesn't really make any sense.
No.
I don't
Habib
get
is looking
that
to
at all.
return in December, Jay.
Thank God.
He finally fought the other night, though. That was good.
Yeah, what was that?
Are you in a phone booth?
Are you?
Okay. It's back.
Me? I'm not in a phone. What's back?
I think Sean ruined it.
Oh, did Sean die?
That's what he likes to... No, he's
No,
here. He likes to ruin things.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
all
my
right,
internet
let's
is
jump into
perfect.
some things. So, mine too. I bought this new router. It was like $150. It's real nice. It's fast.
$150.
Yeah, only the best.
That's fucking ketchup on spaghetti money right there.
Yeah. But before we jump into the first word, just want to give a shout out to our friends over at Dude Products with the Dude Wipes. They actually have launched in all the Kroger stores across the country, so you guys can not only find them at Amazon.com, you can also now find them in your Kroger grocery store. So everyone check out Dude Wipes, and congratulations, guys. Now, let's move into some fights. First word. The buzz around the fight on Saturday with Ronda Rousey. That was, I mean, everyone and their mother was tweeting about this. Every celebrity, every athlete, everyone you can think of. So, I guess the first thing, like, do you really think this did $1 million, like 1 million pay-per-view buys? I mean, is that a thing? Is he that big, Jay?
I don't know, but there's definitely a ton of people talking about it. I was in Poconos for the race, for the NASCAR race, and I was, watching the post game on. Actually, it wasn't even a post game. I turned on ESPN. I saw Chael and Jonathan Coachman talking about this for like a legitimate 25 minutes. I was like, geez. I was like, they have nothing else to talk about on Saturday night. I mean, I don't know about the pay-per-view buys because that's kind of a different thing. Like buying something before it happens, opposed to talking about it after it happens, are two different things. But my two things on the Rousey popularity, I think, are this. One, as stupid as it sounds, that Fast and the Furious movie, like, that just gives you mainstream appeal. You know, that movie made a ton of money, a ton of people saw it, opens a lot of eyeballs, and people just kind of see her more as a celebrity fighting as opposed to a fighter fighting. And two, even more dumb, is the ESPYs and Ronda getting basically like, red carpet treatment and, basically being one of the stars of that show to a mainstream sports audience, legitimized her to a different level. I know it sounds stupid, but
yeah, it does.
I think that really had some sort of effect.
Possibly. I think it's just different. Like we've never seen in fighting like a woman kind of do this before, and it's everyone's interested. Like people who don't watch fights are interested, and I don't know. It's kind of like Conor McGregor, but it's a lot different because Conor McGregor is still just a dude fighting and knocking people out. But what Ronda's doing is just we've never seen before. It's different, Brad.
Yeah, I think the big distinction to draw between Conor and Ronda and other people that have proven to be big pay-per-view draws is that a lot of the people that Ronda's bringing in, they're not used to paying to watch things. Like, they're not used to, like, the fans that Brock Lesnar brought in, they were used to paying for wrestling pay-per-views before, so they had no problem paying for UFC pay-per-views. I think it's taken a while for the fans that Ronda's brought in to actually get used to the idea of buying fights. So I'm not sure that I believe that, this did 1 million buys or right near 1 million buys or anything like that, just because that's what the Google trends say, because those people just aren't used to shelling out, $60-$70 for a pay-per-view. It's not something that they do.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like people, like, I had people coming up to me and asking me if I was ordering the fights, and, like, I don't know, I do. And Dave Meltzer said he thought it did 1 million buys, too. So, he's always kind of been spot on as kind of who we've trusted for pay-per-view buys, and it was reported by the UFC and him that it did more than Conor McGregor did. And, with that, I think they said that did at least like 950,000 buys. So you got to think this probably did 1 million by everything we're looking at. And it's just, it's funny because I feel like the UFC didn't really promote this card that heavily. Like if you look at UFC 189, like all the promotions, like they promoted the shit out of that to get the buy rate, I think. And this one, it's like the UFC just said like, hey, Ronda's on the card. And like that was the promotion. And they're like, okay, let's all buy it. It's crazy. Sean?
As far as their popularity goes, my dad texted me out of nowhere and said, hey, record that Rousey fight for me. I want to watch it. And I was like, Dad,
you could just go
no.
on Instagram.
Yeah, I was like, no. Yeah, no. Come on. What are you doing? He used to pop up and ask me about fights all the time, and it's been probably like a year, and now he pops up and asks about a fucking girl fight. I was severely disappointed.
Did he get disinvited from the princess party?
He's about to. If he asked me to watch it when he's here, I'm fucking kicking him out.
Oh God! All right, so something else that everyone's been talking about is the Kuzma Palhares fight again, and man, like I don't know who to blame here the most. And Palhares is obviously scum, and more than just holding on to the submissions, which he clearly did again. If you guys haven't checked Joe Lozon's little video he put out, check that out. It's pretty interesting stuff. He compared 6 of his fights versus 6 of Palhares' fights, and he timed how long it took to break up, and it's kind of staggering. But also with the eye gouges, and Mazzagati's in there, who's just one of the worst humans on earth, and he warned Palhares like 6 or 7 times, and it got to the point where it's like he was clearly doing it on purpose. He kept gouging the eyes. He should have been disqualified at that moment. Like, that is not okay. He didn't take a point, did nothing, and it's like until something happens where and I know they've stripped him here, but this should be like the commission stepping in, taking all his money away and saying, you're suspended for 2 years. Something like that to make him stop. And with the holding the submissions, it's so dangerous, especially with the submissions he does. He's not doing chokes. He's doing, break your arms, break your legs type shit. He fights someone they don't fight again for a year, and he needs to be done. And I've tried to be a little bit conservative on stopping him from fighting and everything, but at this point it's so obvious, and I'm done with the guy. Sean?
Okay, everybody needs to calm down. This is not tennis, okay? Evander Holyfield for 15 years became an expert at headbutting you, hurting you, cutting you, definitely cheating. Bernard Hopkins for 15 years would go on the other side of the ref and punch you in the kidney that the ref couldn't see over and over again for 12 rounds for every fight that he's in. Look, there's no other dirty MMA guys. It's fucking fighting. He's dirty. It's scary. He'll fucking grab your arm and twist it off and not let go. Okay, there's no other guy like that. Do we need to get rid of this guy? Can he just be the cheating, scary guy? We don't have any. Let him be the cheating, scary guy. Keep him around and let people be scared. And then next time he almost rips somebody's arm off and doesn't let go, we can have this conversation again, and it's fun. I don't see. Get rid of him for what?
Well, here's the one thing, the difference between a headbutt or a kidney punch or a low blow or something like this. He's ruining guys' careers by
Have you ever seen Evander Holyfield's head?
But
it's a goddamn cannonball. And ask Mike Tyson how his career was after 2 shots from that cannonball.
But you headbutt someone, it's not like you can't walk again. Mike Pierce has not fought yet. Since then, he still hasn't fought. If you look at the list, I think it's literally about a year on average that you don't fight.
But do you miss him fighting though?
No, of course not.
Okay, there you go.
But that's not the point.
It was a service.
Look, it's cool to have a cheating, scary guy. He's like the old, Oakland Raiders, but of MMA. Just let him be.
Should he have been disqualified for the eye gouges?
He should have had a point pulled for the eye gouges for sure.
Yeah.
Disqualified, no.
I mean, Jake Shields' face the next day looked like he got hit by a baseball bat.
It was worse than Pat Cummins' face.
Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah. All right, and then also we got to look. All of a sudden, we got to look over that Kimura and how fucking awesome it was, and how he rolled up a super 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 good jiu-jitsu guy and just ripped it off like that, like it was easy. It's a shame that goes by the wayside because he held it too long.
That's the
I agree.
And that's the most sad thing about this. Let's say Paul Yaris is in the UFC. Let's say that he is not dirty. He doesn't do the submission stuff. He just has some of the best finishing ability in the world. Like, how much fun would that be? Would you not be interested in if he wasn't dirty, Paul Yaris versus like a Robbie Lawler or something like that? Where
I'm interested in he is dirty.
But now he's not going to fight anybody. We're not going to get to see him versus any of the guys in the UFC because of he's dirty. And like, to me, like, wouldn't it be fun if it was Paul Yaris versus like a top 3 guy and like, holy shit, what if he catches Robbie Lawler? You know, his jiu-jitsu's so good he could do that, and we won't see that.
Yeah, it's true.
So now we're going to see him in ONE FC, and Ben Askren's going to hump him.
I don't know.
Ben Askren could get subbed.
A little
by
scary,
him.
yeah. He could get subbed. They'll be in Paul Harris sub-you zone for the whole fight, I assume.
Yeah, it's danger zone land.
That's kind of the shocking thing too, is that it happened in the 3rd round.
Yeah. Getting gas out.
That's scary.
But I think if there was anyone to kind of return the favor of dirty, I think it'd be Ben Askren. I think Ben Askren would like try to take his back and like stick his finger in his eye and like put his like fish hook him while he's like trying to turn him and stuff. Like, I don't think Ben Askren would. Like, I think he would play with it.
You know who the other dirty guy is? Brian Caraway.
But his dirtiness is.
He did fish hook someone. You're right.
But it's like minor stuff. His is like, I'm going to try to end your career real quick. Be right back.
Yeah,
and
he's just trying to win.
The eye gouging shit was so blatant.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. Like, it's so bad. And then the fucking Nevada Athletic Commission, they come out and the only thing they say is, we're investigating Paul Yaris and Jake Shields. It's like, what? Like, I understand after the bell, but did you see what happened? The guy just break his arm and wouldn't let go.
Can you imagine what it would have been like if, the Diazes, they hate to fight for money, but they love fighting for no money. But if they didn't get thrown out after brawling with that other guy that hates to fight for money,
that would have been awesome.
The brawl would have been after the fight.
That would have been like Affliction.
I mean, they would have legit, like, no doubt in my mind, if they were in the corner, they would have ran in and like probably not done anything, just flicked them off because they're pussies. Yeah. But they would have been in there for sure. God, that would have been great. Like if Gil was there, like the whole bunch of retards who always lose and think they're tough, the whole gang was there.
You mean everybody from Stockton?
Yeah.
They've never lost a round in their life, bro.
That's the worst group of fighters.
Yeah.
That is.
That's fun.
Jay, anything to add about Paul Yaris?
I'll leave you with this. So MMA Roasted just sent out this tweet and it goes, there's a new sex move called the Paul Harris. When a girl gives you a hand job but won't let go after you nut. There you go. Boom.
The other one was better, where he was like, they stripped Paul Harris of his title, but he wouldn't let go. That was a little more clever.
That one is better.
That's funny. That's much better. All right, let's move on now to UFC 190. We'll quickly recap this. I thought, to me, this was one of the worst pay-per-views I've ever seen.
Yep, it was horrible.
It was dog shit, and it was put together like dog shit.
I was watching it with my brother, and like we just couldn't stop laughing. We were like, "What the fuck are we watching?" Like, I felt like I was in school, and I was like, "Oh my god, we got 3 more hours left." Yeah. And like I remember, like halfway through the Struve Big Nog fight, I was like, "Oh my god, we have like 5 more fights until Ronda fights. Like, this is disgusting.
And 2 of them were tough Brazil fights.
And the funny thing is, the tough Brazil fights were way better than the Struve Nog fight and the Shogun Nog fight. The Shogun fight, people were like, that was a good fight. There was like 14 seconds of action in that.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was terrible. And the Struve Nog fight was legit that was one of the worst fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, slow.
That was bad even for heavyweights.
Slow.
And I actually I thought the tough Brazil fights were the 2 best fights on the card.
The second one was pretty slow.
Yeah, but at least there was a finish.
Yeah.
I fell asleep as well. Yeah, I fell asleep.
I mean, that was hard to stay up for, like, literally.
Yeah.
That was tough. Like,
well,
I didn't enjoy
They put
that.
7 different fights on after the main event, which didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Cause like, when we got to the second tough Brazil fight, like, I was very ready for the main event. Like, 5 fights on a pay-per-view is definitely plenty for me with the time. And like, if this was 7 badass fights, I honestly don't think I would have cared. Like, I think I would have been like, this is fucking great. But when it was 6 really shitty fights for the most part, I mean, the Gadella Aguilar fight didn't blow me away as far as excitement or anything.
Yuck.
Like, yeah. Alright, but let's quickly go through the prelim. So, preliminary card, UFC Fight Pass, Bantamweight division, Guido Canetta defeated Hugo Viana, who I believe closed at minus 500 or so?
Yep.
I believe. You hedged down on that, right, Brad?
Oh yeah.
Attaboy. And then in the middleweight division, Vitor Miranda defeated Clint Hester by TKO. I know Baby Dick was all over that.
Yeah.
Moving up to the Fox Sports 1 portion of the card, we had the bantamweight division. Yuri Alcantara defeated Leandro Issa by unanimous decision. And
Shocking finish by Alcantara.
So I had one of the worst cards I've had in a long time. The only thing I did right was, after the first round, I took Alcantara at plus 230. That was literally like the only thing I did well this entire card thing. I passed on guys that I would always bet in every situation. And then
like Warley?
No, I bet Warley.
Cummins.
Yeah. So I passed on Cummins and Maya.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? But
the price on Maya by the end was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
Not
I should have taken it. I mean, honestly, it was like he should have been minus 1,000, right, Sean?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
I can get to that one.
Welterweight division, Warley Alves defeated Nordine Talib by guillotine choke. That's another thing I missed. I didn't play the inside the distance of the sub, and I even said on the show he's going to sub him with a guillotine choke.
We gave that out as our prop.
Worst human. Light heavyweight division, Patrick Cummins defeated Feja El Cavalcante by knockout elbows, and I think this was the first major offender of guy who used to use steroids and now he looks like a fat tub of shit award. And then lastly, in the main event of the evening, in the welterweight division, Demian Maia defeated Neil Magny by basically rape. Like, I called the authorities. Like, I placed a call into Brazil and I was like, hey, I'm watching this, I'm really scared. There's this poor black man getting raped. And everyone's cheering, and they keep saying, like, you will die, and he's just getting raped. Oh, he's choking him now. Help! Send help! And that was kind of my reaction. And, you know what? I'm glad Magny lost, because he's not a good fighter. But I am sorry you lost your bet, Sean. I did not take any joy in that. That you lost your bet.
It was way less of a beating than I thought I was going to take. That wasn't bad at all.
Yeah. I mean, you did well off Magny in the long run. So he was definitely a good investment. But man, what does it say about Demian Maia? I mean, is he still there? I mean, Neil Magny, I know I've been hard on him, but he's not like an easy out, and he's not like a tub of shit. And Maia made him look like he had never fought before. I mean, he took him down at one point, I think, with his pinky. He just like tapped him in the knee, and Magny fell down. The takedown at the beginning of the second round, that was just embarrassing. Like, the entire country cried at the wrestling ability of Neil Magny after that.
Yeah. That was bad.
That reminded me of when like Dan Hardy fought GSP, and GSP just took him down in every imaginable way. And so easily.
Nice.
Oh. It also reminds me of the time that Sean goes, he's not gonna like let him get near him or like make him mad. Like, I mean, he's gonna move. Like, act like they were fighting on a football field.
Alright, god damn it.
Alright. Sean, any last words for Neil?
I mean, honestly, I didn't watch the fight. A guy knocked at my door. He was selling encyclopedias. I was like, fuck this fight. I just went out and bought some.
Buy some encyclopedias.
Did you get the whole set?
I got the whole set, A through Z. It was excellent.
$2,600.
Who needs a computer? I got fucking encyclopedias now. Exactly. All the things that I thought that he would be passed, he was not passed. Everybody who said this is easy takedowns to easy sub was right. It shakes me on a betting perspective on the thoughts about momentum, on the thoughts about a guy believing in himself, on the thoughts about, hey, you're surging, you beat some good people, here's your chance to really crack through. But no, you didn't get any better at the things that you were bad at. And I don't know why that happened, but that's what happened. He was taken down so easily and moved around so easily. I mean, granted, Maia is that guy, but you knew that shit was coming, right? You knew that's what he was going to try to do, and he just wasn't far enough, wasn't active enough, just didn't sprawl quick enough. It was bad.
It wasn't that he wasn't active enough. He was too active in the second round. Because he was moving forward, trying to be aggressive with his jab, and Maia was just like, "Oh, thank you. I'm just gonna duck under this."
But that takedown wasn't it was like he wasn't ready for it. It was terrible. Jesus Christ!
Did he try to defend a takedown?
It didn't fucking look like it.
It didn't. It looked like he was. I think even when they started back in the second round, he was completely defeated.
This is the guy who was taken down by Seth Baczynski and lost the fight to Seth Baczynski, right?
Seth Baczynski's tough, good wrestler.
Every time Magny's fought somebody with an above average grappling game, he struggled and he's been threatened with submissions every single time. Some of those guys, he was able to weather the storm barely, and basically just the other guy was gassed and he took over late in the fight. And then other times he was subbed. I mean, nothing has changed. He's the same guy, Sean. I mean,
it's true. And after this performance,
I think it was more of you wanted him to do well in this fight, and you were hoping he made those changes. The reality is he's always going to be this guy who's going to struggle with defending steps.
I couldn't jump off of him at this point, but on the other hand, you're right. Not only based on this performance, I'm going to have to go into his next fight thinking that he'll never be able to do that. He'll never be able to stop takedowns and get off his back quickly.
He's too tall.
Because this was the time. This was the time where he's like, all right, I'm going to stop some fucking takedowns. And not only did he fail at that, but he got an F- at it. It was as bad as you could do.
Yeah, stop stealing my grades, Sean.
When you're 6'7" and somebody's able to take you down with an outside trip from a body lock, that's bad. That's really bad.
So he could have high-stepped out of the second one. He could have high-stepped out of the second round.
I said, he doesn't move. He didn't try. Yeah. He didn't try. So what's next for Maia? You guys think he's going to fight Gunnar Nelson? That make too much sense?
That'd be great.
Give Maia a title shot.
Again?
The winner of Condit?
I honestly think that Maia, if he fought Robbie Lawler, he would have a legitimate chance.
Agreed. Now, I would give him zero chance against Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah.
And what about Carlos Condit?
Zero.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, bad news.
Carlos would Carlos would survive on the ground, and then once we get to the third round, just light him up.
Yeah,
it'd be bad news.
So, but I do like the Maia versus. I do like that fight. I think that makes sense. And then for Patrick Cummins, I mean, I think he'll get another step up here. I mean, you could even see Patrick Cummins maybe fight Rampage.
What if Bader loses his next fight? They could do Cummins versus Bader. That'd be great.
Why don't they just look at who Ryan Bader fought and what succession he fought them in, and have Cummins fight the exact same guys?
Makes sense.
I'd be okay with Cummins versus Latifi too, but they're not going to do that.
I was most impressed on this card with Cummins. I don't think that was a weak Feijao. I thought Feijao looked okay, and Cummins really got rid of him pretty fucking brutally. Cummins looked really good, and coming out of a knockout loss, to show up and do that is a real statement. I really think that was a big deal for him.
That was violent.
Yeah.
Was a fight. That was kind of the fight was a little slow and he was more on top, and I think everybody thought he was gonna just kind of grind him out in the third, and he finished him fucking that was mean. the weird thing is we haven't seen that from Patrick Cummins. Like Patrick Cummins on top is more like just kind of on top. Like he's not
stay busy.
Yeah,
hold you down
around, try to pass, and like we haven't seen that. And man, he just got on top of him and he just beat the shit out of him. Like those elbows were legit.
Yeah.
And like Fejao might not be the best, but he's a pretty tough fucking guy. And he got him out of there in a third round, and in a round where he was, in that fight he was having trouble with both eyes. And
one thing that's great about Patrick Cummins, great striking defense. Takes a punch real well. Doesn't mark up at all.
He's one of those guys that even when he's like dominating, like going in the third round, I was like, Fejao's like plus 2,000. Maybe I'll take a shot. It's like his chin is so bad. Oh man. Anyway, let's move on now to the main card. Starting out women's strawweight division, Claudia Gadelha defeated Jessica Aguilar by unanimous decision. I think I think a lot of us kind of thought Jessica had a chance here, and she didn't. Like, Gadelha's legit, and how about JJ scared shitless of her now?
Not a chance.
Did you hear what she said?
No, what'd she say?
So Dana already announced that Claudia is getting the next title shot, obviously, right? And JJ was like, I don't know, I don't think she deserves that fight.
She beat her! She already beat you once.
A, she beat you. B, she's beaten everyone else. And it's funny because like you would think JJ would be one of those chicks that like wouldn't give a fuck because she's like talking, like always talking, and like it makes me legit think that it's like she's a little afraid of the matchup because how JJ is, you think JJ would respond like I'm gonna beat the shit out of her, or even worse this time, or blah blah blah. But it was like I don't think she deserves it. Like meaning like she's gonna put me on my fucking back, and if she doesn't gas out, I have no chance.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would take JJ easy in that.
Really?
Even though she's going to be like a minus 300 favorite, Sean?
No, at minus 300, I won't go near it, but I'll take it inside the distance. So,
I think if Claudia's, I thought her cardio looked a little bit better here, and if her cardio is good to go, I mean, she's putting JJ in her fucking back the whole fight, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the striking differential, there is one, obviously, but I don't think it's nearly as big as the grappling.
I thought Claudia's striking looked a lot better on Saturday.
Yeah.
I feel like she treated up a little bit. She had some good knees. I feel like she looked a lot better. And like I thought she looked good in the third round.
Yeah.
I think she faded a little bit. I don't know if faded. I think she kind of just coasted a little bit in the third, but
why wouldn't you?
Exactly. Heavyweight division, Antonio Bigfoot Silva defeated Soa Puelli by TKO in the second round, and holy quit job, Batman. What the fuck was that? He won the first round big, and then literally completely quit.
Well,
Jay, what the fuck happened?
Well, Bigfoot hit him with like an overhand, and like it like staggered Palele, and then he's like,
quit.
Yeah,
they started the second round. They started the second round. He immediately took 3 steps backwards.
Here's the thing with Soa that I'm not sure if people realize or are finally starting to realize is that he is terrible in the stand-up exchanges. Like, he offers nothing. He does not hurt people in those. The only way he's effective is if he's able to score a takedown. And when he gets in top control, he's one of the best.
Yeah,
like, in that division, from top control, he hurts people and he can knock you out. With ground and pound. There's not many guys who, have done that, multiple times. And that's really what he does. And he let Bigfoot off the hook by not finishing him at the end of that first round. And it cost him the fight. There's no doubt. He was tired. Bigfoot hit him, and Bigfoot definitely looked a little better than he did his previous fight. So
I guess
did he though?
I don't think he did. I thought he looked the same.
Yeah,
I mean, he did. He got manhandled in the last minute of the first round, and I think if Soa had even like 40% left of the half tank, he finishes him.
There's probably if there's 20 seconds left in that fight in that first round, he probably finishes him.
Are we not doing?
He had top control for like a legitimate minute. Though.
Did you see him get up though when the bell rang? He was like, "Oh!"
Well, what do you expect though? I mean, that's so it hurts people in that position. I mean, that's.
But that attempt at a finish was all that Soa had, and that was it.
That was it.
So, are we doing Bigfoot Hunt or Bigfoot Overeem next?
I'd love to see Bigfoot.
Neither of those.
Bigfoot Fedor.
Yeah,
I don't think Fedor's going to sign.
I would totally be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
You could do Bigfoot Struve.
Yeah, that makes me sleepy.
Even as like fat.
What about Bigfoot? What about Bigfoot Pro
Saturday? Struve would still kill him.
What about?
Holy shit! Could Struve knock out Bigfoot?
Yes.
100%.
Wow.
I thought Struve
What about
I thought
Krokop?
Struve's striking looked good.
Yeah, he used the distance a little. Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
Krokop going to fight again or no? Or is that like not a thing?
Krokop would definitely take a fight against Bigfoot.
Yeah.
He would crush Bigfoot.
You could
He
do
would
any of those
smash
fights.
Bigfoot.
Yep.
That's okay.
And he's on that, like, weird Croatian magma that, apparently tests can't detect.
Yeah. Obviously. He would rough Bigfoot up. Oh, man.
You could do Big Madoff against Bigfoot.
No, you're
Not all the bigs.
No, you're gonna put Bigfoot against older guys who have big names.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's just kind of where he's at. If Fedor signs, I think it's a no-brainer, because I think Fedor comes out and blows him out in like 30 seconds,
And that's
and you
what
have
they want,
something there.
right?
But
Yeah.
if not, why not make the Mark Hunt Bigfoot fight? There's no reason not to, honestly.
I'm into that.
You destroy him.
Who would?
Yeah.
Mark
It's
Hunt
okay,
would
though.
destroy him.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay
What
with
should have
that.
happened the first time if Bigfoot wasn't on the sauce?
Totally.
Okay,
That was a
perfect.
great fight, though.
We already talked about it a little bit, but heavyweight division, Stefan Struve versus Big Nog, and to me, this is one of the worst 15 minutes of fighting I've ever seen. It was so bad. It was like they were walking in slow motion, and these fights were just like this is what heavyweight is. Like these two fights, like this is heavyweight MMA. Outside of like the top 5-6 guys, like this is what it is, and it was horrible. I thought Struve's offensive striking looked a little bit better. I thought Big Nog was pretty much gassed out from the bell. Sean.
Yeah, you hit it just about right. The distance, Struve's distance did look a little bit better. And this idea of the front kick to the stomach with the ball of the foot or the toes, that's definitely coming around. That's a thing now, and I think that's effective. And if you're tall like that, why not work that on somebody? But anytime that Nogueira came forward, Struve did the same exact thing he always does, which is just pull his head away and kind of like look up a little bit and not try to get out of the way. And that's what will get Struve knocked out every time. When somebody reaches him, his chin is there, he's done. So he looked better, but he was fighting a mummy. There you go.
Brad, anything to add, or are you good here?
I don't think it was that Nog was gassed. I think it's just his body isn't responding to what his brain wants to do.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
So Jay, what do you do with Struve?
I don't know. The Bigfoot fight made a lot of sense, but
How about Mitrione?
Ooh,
Loss.
that's Struve getting knocked out bad.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Didn't he shit his pants in the locker room last time?
what about
over.
Schaub?
Schaub?
No.
not
He's a
fighting
205er.
He's not
Oh,
fighting.
yeah.
I mean, is he or is he? Who knows?
Yeah, he already announced he dropped the 205.
Yeah.
I believe that when I see it.
I can't wait till he gets to 205 and gets knocked out.
I think
can't
he
wait.
I think Mitrione makes sense. I think that'll get Mitrione back on the winning track, but Mitrione could also get subbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dumb enough to get subbed.
I think that'd be a fun fight. We're not going to talk about these two fights.
I didn't want to.
I just made the executive decision.
We didn't talk about it last week, so.
Exactly. Why talk about him now? Light heavyweight division, Mauricio Shogun Hua versus Little Nog, 29-28 across the board. It wasn't the worst fight ever. It wasn't great. It wasn't, we've been so spoiled with main cards the last month and a half or so, and we've been so spoiled with main events and co-main events that, like, this made me, like, I don't know. I was way more up for Shields versus Palhares, to tell you the truth. But yeah, I mean, Shogun won, but man, that chin. Like, what did he even get caught with in the first round? Like a jab?
It looked like a glancing left hand, like, off the side of his head.
Like, I thought he was joking when he started, like, buckling his knees. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, because he hit him, I was thinking to myself, like, that was nothing. Then all of a sudden, Shogun's, like, falling backwards against the cage. I was like, shit!
Yeah.
Because I ended up adding Shogun versus Marlon Moraes late, and I ended up hedging out of Shogun after the second round with Nog at, like, plus 300 or something. To break even, because I can't trust Shogun's chin.
Yeah, that was probably a good call.
So bad. Anything to add, guys?
I think Little Nog might have looked a little bit less washed up than Shogun. I know he lost, but he didn't look terrible.
Pretty inactive, though. I mean, he wasn't
That's kind of what he does, though.
very
that's
aggressive. When he got on the ground, he was just a dead fucking fish.
True.
Yeah, his
I
problem
don't
is
know.
going to be against guys that can kick a lot, because once he gets into boxing range, because he's a southpaw, he's pretty good with the lead hand, he can nullify what guys do, like you saw it against Rashad. But if he's facing a guy that can kick really well, like Shogun can, it's not going to not going to go too well for him. I thought the fight was better than I expected. I'll say that.
Yeah. So here's the thing with Shogun. Let's say we put Rampage's chin on Shogun with how he is right now. Is Shogun still a top 10 fighter if he has a good chin?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So to me, he still looks like Shogun until he gets caught. Like the first couple minutes of that fight, I was like, man, Shogun's looking pretty good. His striking's still there. He looks decent. And then it's just like one punch, and it's just like it changes everything. And then he went into wrestling mode.
He's significantly slower than he used to be, though. He's a bit plodding on the feet.
He still has the same style.
Yeah, his skill set, his actual technique is still decent though. I mean, leg kicks are sharp.
He's just
he still has variety in his striking, but just his overall speed. He's just, people can run circles around him. Anyone, halfway young. So, yeah.
So Shogun, Rampage, no brainer.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Do it. Sure.
Right. I think that makes sense.
That's a co-main event.
That's a decision.
We already talked about Honda Hosi. So I think we're good there. So now let's move on to. We're not talking about World Series. We already did that. I'm actually not going to talk about Marlon Moraes and how everyone thinks he looked great and this and this. He's fighting garbage men.
I haven't watched the fight, so
I didn't watch it either.
Not that good.
Yeah, he looked good, great. He knocked or finished another fucking guy who sucks ass. Like, I don't give a shit about Marlon Moraes. Like, he chose to. He doesn't trust his own skills to go test him. So that's it. I don't want to talk about him. Fair? Yeah. He was a free agent. Could have went to the UFC. Probably would have started as a top 5 bantamweight. Maybe even could have got a median title shot. And instead he's fighting Shaman Moraes.
Would not have gotten a median title shot.
I mean, there's not a lot of guys for TJ besides Cruz.
He could have went 2-0 to title fight.
Oh, Sunsau's going to get a shot. But
if the Sunsau's come back into the year, it could have been Marlon Moraes versus Sunsau for a title shot. You never know.
Maybe.
But instead, he wants to fight Shaman Moraes. And honestly, with what World Series is paying him, which is just astronomically
you can't really
crazy.
blame him for that.
Yeah, I guess that's money's money.
I just hope Lance Palmer's next fight is in the octagon. That's all I'll say.
Where's he been?
He fought a couple months ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been too long.
And
that Rick Glenn fight, or was there another fight?
No, he fought Horodecki.
Yeah. And
that's right.
He looked amazing in that fight too.
Yep.
I think
not hard to do.
I think he's currently in. I would assume he's in contract negotiations because that was his last fight on his contract.
Good.
So I would assume he's negotiating with the UFC if I had to guess. But we'll see. All right, now let's move on. We have Fight Night 73 live from Nashville, and we'll all be in attendance besides the former member of the MMA Analysis, Sean Carey. So let's jump right in it. First fight of the night on the UFC Fight Pass, we have in the lightweight division, Anthony Christodoulou versus Scott Holzman. Okay?
Anthony Christodoulou is an F. Scott Holzman is a C. Yeah.
You not do F minus?
F minus, F minus could work here. I think Anthony Christodoulou is one of the 5 worst fighters on the UFC roster. Yeah. And I mean that in all seriousness. He might be one of the 5 worst fighters.
Is that including women's fighters?
Maybe. Maybe. Well, I said fighters.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he's overweight. He's not athletic, and his skill set is piss poor. That's just the reality of his fight. And people are wondering why. He is terrible at fighting. Really terrible. That's who Anthony Christodoulou is. People are trying to say, why is Scott Holzman a minus 800 favorite? Because the guy is
terrible.
A real fighter. He's fucking terrible. So,
yeah, you're good. You had enough.
No, just let me finish about Holtzman. He doesn't have one-punch knockout power, but he is aggressive. He's got decent cardio. He's a grinder. And he's got pretty good ground and pound. I don't really see a lot of holes in his game. I just don't think he has, that top-level striking that can, really take him to the next level. So I think C is a pretty fair grade for the guy. So, he wins pretty easily, all 3 rounds. Probably, maybe a decision, maybe a stoppage.
Have you guys seen Scott Holtzman's Sherdog picture?
Is it awesome?
Not really, but he's got trunks on that say hot sauce on it, but it looks like it says nut sauce, which is funny to me. So,
nut sauce.
Yeah. So Scott Nut Sauce Holtzman, he's gonna win this fight because Anthony Christodoulou sucks, and if you're Greek, you should be ashamed that this man is representing your people. Because, he's just not good at anything. Even in the fights that he won on the regional circuit, he didn't look good. So, I'm not sure that Holtzman's going to get the finish because he's not a huge puncher, as Jay said, but if you are looking for something to throw in a parlay, I would definitely recommend the Holtzman minus 3.5.
Sean?
Yeah, this fight's all about Holtzman. If you are a guy who fights on a regional circuit and has a fake record, then maybe you go the distance or lose to Christodoulou. If you want me to think that you're a prospect of any sort, then you blow Christodoulou out in the first round, and that's how it has to go. If you step up to the UFC and get the ultimate can in front of you, then you have to finish him and you have to keep the train moving. You can't look like shit against Christodoulou because then you're going nowhere.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, I like Holtzman in this fight, but I'm not going to bet it. I mean, first fight in the UFC, and he hasn't fought in, over a year, and it's minus 700, so I just don't think it's worth it, but I mean, more than likely, Holtzman's going to roll here. Alright, bantamweight division, this fight is two guys I've never heard of, Marlon Vieira versus Roman Salazar. Jay?
Yeah, Marlon Vera was on that Tough Mexico season. I have a D-, and I have Roman Salazar an F. If I remember correctly, Roman Salazar is the guy who could do absolutely nothing against a washed-up Kid Yamamoto.
And we bet him, too.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. What a dumb idea that was. Oh, that was the fight that ended in a no contest.
That was the eye poke.
Yeah, the weird eye poke. Yeah,
yes.
That was weird.
Thank God for our bet.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
dude.
This fight really could go either way because both guys are terrible. So, I'll go Marlon Vera just because he actually has a little bit of offense, but he could easily be wrestled here by Roman Salazar. Wouldn't shock me either way.
Yeah. Brad?
Yeah, I like Vera here. Salazar, that fight against Kidd was just awful stuff. So basically, he came into the UFC after beating a bunch of cans, got smoked by Mitch Gagnon. Really no shame in that for a guy that's going to be like a mid to low tier bantamweight, but then looked awful against Kid Yamamoto. So that's where, I look at you and I'm like, yep, you don't belong here. And Marlon Vera, well, he still needs to develop his skills a whole lot. At least he's at a good camp. He has the physical attributes that will allow him to grow into his skills. And I think that he's probably going to get this one done, and I wouldn't be shocked if he manages to pull off a finish. So I like Marlon Vera here. Even at the minus 125, I'm thinking about a little play on him.
Sean, do you know who these people are?
I do. I looked for a betting edge. There was
Loser!
Yeah,
Nerd alert.
Yeah, you did waste your time here.
Nerd.
Both these guys, regardless of who wins this fight, are future guys who get cut. That's how it goes. There's just nothing here. Nobody does anything well. Nobody does anything even better than average. Sorry, but not interested. I'll pick Vera just because of Salazar's last performance was oof.
I'm not going to act like I know who these people are, so we'll move on. Light heavyweight division: Chris Dempsey versus Jonathan Wilson. And I think that guy looked like gigantic, like he just lifts cars for a living. Jay?
I gotta be honest, I haven't had a chance to, review Jonathan Wilson yet, so I can't say, if he wins or not.
For sure, big dick.
Oh yeah, he's got a huge hog.
Ooh.
Yeah, Rumble. Jonathan Rumble Wilson.
Only thing I know really about Chris Dempsey is that he can be durable,
white.
and doesn't really offer much. I mean, that Eddie Gordon fight, ooh.
Eddie Gordon, I just saw, is not being cut and he's dropping a weight class.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, baby.
They must really, they really like Chris Weidman. That's what we learned.
If you search, Jonathan Wilson, the first picture that comes up is Corey Anderson.
Oh, man.
Racism is killing me. Alright. Come on, John.
What?
Or Brad.
Yeah.
Whoever.
Well, Jonathan Wilson has a win over Stevie Ray in his amateur fights. I'm assuming it's not Scottish Stevie Ray. I'm assuming it's actually Stevie Ray from Harlem Heat. So that's
great.
And it was an Explode fight series, so that's a quality win there. So he's actually
that was that guy's only fight ever.
It was
professional or amateur.
I know, it's great. I'm not overly impressed by Wilson. I thought I would see a little bit more out of him. But in terms of physical attributes, he's way better than Chris Dempsey. He's actually a 205er. As Lance said, he's pretty bricked up at 205. And last time Dempsey fought at 205 on short notice, he looked like a big tub of pudding against Ilir Latifi, and he lasted about 30 seconds. And I think it's going to be something similar here, really just based on the physical stuff alone. Wilson's an alright striker, trains with Lorenz Larkin, but I think he's going to get Dempsey out of there pretty quick.
Sean?
Yeah, I'd like to be on Dempsey, but, it's just another one of those fights. There's just nothing there to look at. I don't know what Wilson's going to do his first time around. He looked okay before, but, Dempsey, if not anything, is tough. He stands in there
so
for
nothing.
a little bit. Yeah, nothing.
I'll cover this in a second.
If he stands there and tires Wilson out, who knows where it goes? It's impossible to pick this. I'll go with Wilson.
So I was just on ShareDog and I was looking at Jonathan Wilson, so I started clicking into his 6 wins. His last win to get into the UFC versus Daniel Injos, his career record is 0-2, both times getting knocked out in under 50 seconds. That was his win to get into the UFC. The win before that was Alex Pulotu. That guy's record is 1-1.
It's a good record. He was undefeated before he faced Wilson.
Yeah. And then we move on to Jemiah Williamson. His record is 3-7. And when Wilson had fought him, he had already lost 3 in a row by first round knockout. This is the worst resume I've ever seen anyone.
No,
and then he fought,
it's not worse than Hyphen Johnson.
No, this is worse. And then his fight before that was against Aquil Strait, and that was his only career fight. He hasn't fought again since. Before that, he fought Arsen Galston, and I'm just going to ask you to click on his name and look at his picture. He was 2-3. This guy has the worst resume of fight wins I've ever seen in my entire life. I've never seen anything like it. No one even has a winning record he's fought. And his first win was against Ethan Cox, and he is career 0-5. So the combined record of his fighters is like 2-30. So I don't know if that means anything. He could probably still win. But Jesus Christ, how bad is that?
That's
and there's
bad.
anything like that. That is bad.
That's
not good.
That's like women's MMA stuff.
With all that said, he's black and Chris Dempsey's white, so I'm going to go with Jonathan Wilson. All right. Next up, we move to the bantamweight division as we have Frankie Saenz versus Serwin Kaká. It opened up my
Stay with your day job.
Talk.
Yeah, Serwin Kaká has a D+. Frankie Saenz C. Kaká was pretty decent in his UFC debut against Danny Martinez, but Martinez was moving up to bantamweight, and that was just a weird card with everybody on short notice. I don't think he's going to have that kind of success against Saenz here, who's, for all intents and purposes, is a really good wrestler for MMA, from Arizona State. And he could definitely score takedowns here against Kaká. If he does that, he's going to win this fight, fairly easily. If Saenz isn't able to score takedowns regularly, he's going to be in real trouble in this one. But I think he's going to get the takedowns. I think he gets the job done. So I'll take a look at Saenz here, and I'll think about the Saenz by decision prop. I'm not sure what the price of that is, but that would be the way I would play this fight.
Brad?
Saenz by decision is plus 140, so not a huge amount of value based on the straight line.
Yeah, not too much value.
When I first heard about this fight, it was like recently after Kakai's last fight, so I think I had a little bit of bias in my mind about that, and I thought it was a closer fight than it was. So I am going to be picking Frankie Saenz here. I think that he's just going to be able to control where the fight takes place, whether it's up against the cage with Kakai's back against the cage, or if Saenz is able to get some takedowns. I think that he's just going to be in control wherever it goes. Originally, I was kind of impressed with Kakai's work from the clinch, but I actually think that he's going to go and throw a couple too many knees, and it's going to open up some takedowns for Saenz if he does get stuck in the clinch. So I think it's probably going to end up on the ground, Saenz on top, controlling, just grinding out the fight. Minus 130 seems like a pretty decent price here.
Yeah. Sean?
Yeah, I like Saenz big in this one. This is my he's half of my biggest play of this card. Like Brad said, I thought that first Kakai fight was, closer than what the scores were at the very minimum. And my first look at Kakai, I was like, okay, this guy does nothing special. It didn't look good. His takedown defense is not great. When you compare these guys, there's only one special attribute, and that's Saenz' wrestling. Saenz' wrestling, I do believe is legit good, and nothing about Kakai is legit good. In order for Kakai to win, he's got to go jab, leg kick for 3 rounds and stay off his back, and I don't see that happening. I think Saenz puts him on his back and stays on top and beats him up and probably pulls a 30-27.
Yeah, I like Saenz here a good bit. I'm actually pretty shocked about this line. I think I had Saenz listed as what I thought I would put him at about minus 225 or so. I thought he'd be much higher. I haven't even had it a little higher than that. I have to look, but I think this is a really good matchup for him. I think this is a guy he can take down, pretty easily, and I think he can take him down and hold him down, wear him out, and that's kind of his game. So I see this as a complete dominant effort by Frankie Saenz. Probably gets a 30-27 across the board, but wouldn't surprise me if he finishes on the ground if whatever this fucking guy's name is, gasses and quits.
The one thing I will say is a little bit concerning. He is 34 years old as a bantamweight, which is starting to get up there, but he doesn't have a whole lot of miles on him from fighting.
True.
Yeah, I don't think he's even been hit before.
And he did Tickman and Alcantara were solid fucking wins. He just beat 2 more dangerous people, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I don't get the little quick hype on this.
No, I don't get it either. I don't get it either. I don't see it. Is he going to be that much bigger? Really?
I don't think so. I mean, Frankie Saenz just fucking beat a legit top 10, 15 fighter.
I don't get.
And now he's minus 130 versus a nobody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it. All right, let's move on now. We have in the flyweight division Dustin Ortiz versus Willie Gates, and I think Dustin Ortiz is from Franklin, Tennessee. I believe.
Is he?
Yeah, I think which is like 15 minutes from the arena.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this is one of the better fights on the card. I got Willie Gates.
Come on.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I got Willie Gates C+, Dustin Ortiz B+. Gates really showed me something that Daryl Montague fight. I wasn't sure what to think of him, but that was a quick finish, beat a guy up. He's talented. He belongs in this division, and he'll stay here for a while. But this is not the fight for him. Dustin Ortiz is sneaky decent on the feet, but his grappling and just his kind of tenaciousness and willingness to grind out wins is right near the top of the division. He's a solid fighter. I didn't believe in him in the beginning either, but he's proven himself to me as well, and he's a legitimate top 10, top 7, top 8 flyweight. He's a solid fighter, and he's going to be able to score takedowns here against Willie Gates, and just going to do what Dustin Ortiz does, and that's grind out wins. So I think he wins, but I wouldn't bet minus 500 here. I just think that's a little too rich for my taste.
Brad?
Yeah, Dustin Ortiz is... I've been pretty high on him since he came into the UFC. His debut was a little bit underwhelming, but I thought he beat John Moraga. I actually thought he lost to Ray Borg. Very competitive decision there, but not really any shame in that because we know that Ray Borg is fucking awesome. And then beat Justin Scoggins and it was, kind of beaten up by Joseph Benavidez, but that's Joseph Benavidez, so not a whole lot of shame in that either. So I think that he belongs at the top of the division. I think the biggest thing that Willie Gates showed us in the Daryl Montague bout is that Daryl Montague just is done. It kind of sucks because he's still a pretty young fighter, and I thought he still had a bit left in the tank, but the chin just doesn't allow him to be up there in the UFC, and especially at the higher level of the UFC. So that was the biggest thing that I took away from that. I don't think that he's going to be able to have the success here. I think that, like Jay said, he's going to get takedowns. Ortiz is going to get takedowns. He's going to be on top. He's going to be able to advance position. Maybe get a submission, but because Willie Gates has been finished a few times before. So I think if I was going to do anything on this fight, I'd probably take a flyer on that, because that prop is $255 for Ortiz, which I would like to be a little bit higher, but I am picking Dustin Ortiz here.
God, why are we talking about this fight so much?
It's a good fight.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's fun. When I was looking for a bet on this fight, I couldn't find any numbers that I like, but I agree with both those guys. You know, Ortiz should win this. He should win it from top, if not finish. He's better than Gates everywhere. The only advantage that I could see, Gates definitely punches long, and I think he's got some speed on Ortiz, but I don't think that's enough to get it done. I think Ortiz gets him late or gets a decision.
Yeah, I like Dustin Ortiz here, but not for a bet at this price. I think it's probably just a little too high, not kind of worth the risk. I think Gates is dangerous, but I think it's going to be Dustin Ortiz kind of grinding him out, probably even outstriking on the feet, taking down, working takedowns, ground and pound. Wouldn't even be completely surprised if Willie Gates gasses out in this fight and Ortiz really takes over late in the fight. But gonna pick Ortiz, but no bet here. All right, moving up now to the women's bantamweight division: Sarah McMahon versus Amanda Nunes. Jay?
Yeah, I got both these fighters as a B. Sarah McMahon, I gotta be honest, she's really been a disappointment in the octagon. Her wrestling credentials are as good as any in the sport, from women's MMA, but I'm not sure what it is. Conditioning may not be there, striking still really isn't good, technique, just something lacking. She got out-wrestled by Miesha Tate, pretty badly, late in that fight, and, deservedly lost. Amanda Nunes is a really strong starter, hits really hard for a women's bantamweight, and at plus 200, I think Amanda Nunes has a real shot in this fight. She could potentially finish early in this bout in round one. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Even if McMahon struggles here, and there is some stand up, Nunes could definitely grind this out as well in other ways. So. I'm gonna pick Amanda Nunes to win. I'm just gonna continue the Sarah McMahon fade train.
Brad?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I agree with Jay that Sarah McMahon has been a disappointment, even though she's only lost to the number 1 and number 2 fighters in the division. But even in her wins, I'm not really sure she deserved the win against Lauren Murphy, and Sheila Gaff was
nostrils.
Sheila Gaff's a flyweight.
Yeah, and not good at that rate. It's been kind of weird, and I think that Sarah McMahon definitely has that mom quit in her. Like Lisa Ellis and some other fighters like that. Just really when it gets tough in there, they just don't really want to be there. So I think that could be a big thing in this fight. I'm worried about Nunes' cardio. Obviously, if she can get on top in. That's kind of a big if, but if she can get on top early, she can do a lot of damage to McMahon and just sort of break her in this fight, I think. If it gets into the second and third round, I really don't know what's going to happen, because I don't know how motivated McMahon is at this point. She's in one of those stages where it could be she just doesn't want to fight anymore. She's lost to the champion and the number 1 contender. She's not going to get back to the title. She's 34, all those sorts of things. So if you're betting it, I think you have to be on Amanda Nunes. I'm still unsure who I'm picking, but leaning slightly towards Nunes right now.
Brad, I like action movies. Like John Wick, there's no story. It's just you killed my dog, now I have to kill you, and I'm completely fine with that. Just lots of action and killing and car stunts and blah, blah, blah. So I look up some reviews on Mission Impossible. It's very entertaining. It's relentless. It's, it's action-packed and a lot of cool stunts and the technology and blah, blah, blah. So I went to go and see Mission Impossible. And about it, how all those, those theater shootings have been happening lately.
They had one in Nashville.
About an hour into this movie, I was really hoping that somebody would just roll in a gas mask and shoot me in the fucking head, because I just couldn't take it anymore. Anytime they talked, I was nodding off. There's no fucking nothing going on. There's no stunts. There's no action. Nobody bleeds. Nobody's clothes get ripped. It's fucking awful. I was just looking for a way out of the theater. I'm planning how I'm gonna fight off the theater shooter, or like, I'm gonna hide behind this and I'll go out this exit. Like, stay away from Mission Impossible. That's what I gotta say about this fight.
What you're saying is you were looking for a way out of that movie, like Lisa Ellis looks for ways out of fights.
Basically the same exact way, yeah. Same exact.
That bad?
It was really bad. Yes, it was like 4 hours long. I'm like, will you please fucking end? Will you please end? And then afterwards, I told my wife, I was like, a half an hour in, I was like, I could have just told you we're leaving, and she was like, I wish you would have told me that you wanted to leave, because we both just wanted to leave. It was really bad. Avoid at all costs.
That's fair. As far as this fight goes, I actually think this fight's not terrible. It'll probably be terrible, but I think it's an exciting matchup. I actually think Sarah McMahon's gonna win here. I don't see Nunez just being able to stop her with one strike or anything. I think McMahon, the thing about Misha Tate is her grappling is really sneaky, and even though she might have the best wrestling credentials like a Sarah McMahon, she's just very crafty on the ground and finds ways on top, and I don't think Nunes has that, so I think McMahon's basically gonna ragdoll her on the ground, stay on top, do absolutely no damage, and then win a 30-27. Yeah. Let's now move up to the middleweight division. Everyone's favorite fighter, Uriah Hall versus Luju Bang Bus. Jay?
Bang Bus.
Bang Bus.
Old Willie's Bang Bus?
Bang Bus. Old Willie's Bang Bus. Remember the MILF Hunter? Guy's the fucking goat.
Yep.
Dude, the Bang Bus guys are goats.
Hey mom, suck my dick. Here's a banana. Hit the cleverest lines. Hey, I got groceries. You want to come back to my house and I'll show you my dick?
Show you my zucchini.
Oh, hey, here's some melons. You have giant breasts.
Oh, man. How come there's no fighter who has the nickname the MILF Hunter?
I think I'm actually going to pull that up right now while we're watching this. I'm going to watch it.
Which one? Bang Bus or MILF Hunter?
I'm going to start with the MILF Hunter. You guys carry on.
It takes me back to the days of, like, Kazaa.
He's from your area. He's from your neck. They used to tape that shit in Toronto, Brad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You guys you ever pick you guys up?
Yes. No. I'm quite the MILF myself.
MILF Hunter. Is that him? You guys go. Carry on.
Yeah, Jay, come on.
I thought you were... Oh, okay. I have Uriah Hall a C and Old Willie's Bang Bus C-. I mean, here's the thing about Bang Bus. He's fought 5 times and he's been a pro for like 2 years. But in his fights, he looks like a pretty fluid striker, like super, super high energy, like Clay Guida style in that way, like that kind of like
the
movement.
MILF Hunter? I do not recognize that dick.
Don't recognize that bulge?
Bulge.
Yes.
This is horse.
Yeah. Lance, you're ruining the show here.
I'm saving the show.
But, so, I mean, alright, so here's the thing with Bang Bus, that, again, you just don't know what you're gonna expect because all the guys he's fought are total cans.
That's funny because you can say that about the actual Bang Bus, too.
Yeah. Total cans. Total cans. In Hall, Hall's gonna be like 4 inches taller in the octagon. He's the better athlete. He's more athletic. But will he actually strike in this fight? You never know. It's Uriah Hall. This is a fight he should win against a debuting fighter who, fights a style that I think plays into, that allows Uriah Hall to like fight at his best, which is be a fluid striker in a total striking exchange. But I don't know. You never know with this guy. So I'll take Uriah Hall maybe by decision, but I wouldn't bet him at all.
You took so long. I just watched the MILF Hunter have sex with a woman.
He didn't finish, did he? He lasts longer than that, Lance.
No, he's old now.
It was like the highlight clip.
Yeah.
Brad, it's probably video highlights.
Brad, do you remember Heather I Deep Throat?
Yes, absolutely.
How can you forget that?
Who doesn't?
She's
How
the
can
best.
you forget that?
Can't. Stitched in my memory.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wish
I'm
I
gonna
had
look
an
up Heather. You
imagination
guys
like I did
continue.
when I was 16 years old.
Brad, you can go. I'm gonna look up videos of Heather.
Nice. Yeah, this fight, I think Uriah Hall is going to win it, and I want to say he's going to win it by decision, but I'm just not sure that Bang Bus has 15 minutes in him, so...
Jesus Christ, I forgot about
Yeah, those videos are a lot longer than 15 minutes, Brad.
Not anymore. Like, that thing's
yeah.
bad on gas. Kind of like this Bang Bus.
She's like a magician.
Now you see it, now you don't.
Oh, man.
It's incredible.
I wonder if we can get a sponsorship from them.
God. Alright, did you pick anyone yet?
I'm gonna pick Hall, but I think this one's gonna go over.
Sean, are you taking the other guy by decision?
Uchiwawi Bang Bang? That old Nas song? I wish we could get a clip of that song. Let's
Heather
intro the show with... No. I'm watching that currently, no.
Are we all sitting here watching porn and recording MMA podcast right now?
Maybe.
Happening.
As far as this fight goes, I will stick with the one thing that I've thought about Uriah Hall since the very get-go, and that's he doesn't like to hurt people. I think the best line in this fight for sticking with that would be this fight goes the distance. That's plus 160. I've got one unit on this. The only thing that worries me about it is that Uchiwawi Bang Bang, he, could absolutely storm forward into a counter and get KO'd. And then people will think that Uriah Hall will be good again, but then they'll be wrong.
Yeah, so I actually really like Uriah Hall in this matchup. I'm not going to bet on him because it is Uriah Hall, but I think Bang Bus is going to run out and be all crazy for 3 minutes and, try to get a finish, won't get it, then gas out completely. And I think even Uriah Hall, who's being completely tentative, I think he would still be able to finish this guy. So I think Uriah Hall wins this one by knockout, but not going to bet it. All right, now let's move to the flyweight division as we have Ray Borg versus Jeannie Herrera. Maybe?
Intergender?
Close enough.
I don't know what a Genie Herrera is, but I know what a Ray Borg is, and Ray Borg is probably the best, outside of Cejudo, the best prospect in this division. He's an excellent fighter, excellent grappler, great athleticism, great ability to lapse in submissions. He's only like 21, 22 years old, so Ray Borg wins this fight. I don't really care.
Yeah, Brad?
Yeah, Ray Borg is going to be able to take this guy down, take his back, maybe submit him. If he doesn't submit him, he's just going to take his back and do that for 15 minutes. So Herrera's not bad. He'll stick around in the UFC, but Ray Borg is very, very good.
Yeah, he is. Jay? Or Sean?
Yeah, Brad's right. Herrera is not bad, but unfortunately for him, Herrera's game is Borg's game, and it's no way that it's better than Borg's. So you got to go Borg on this.
Yeah, I like Borg as well. I think this is going to be a one-sided matchup, which the line indicates. But, yeah, I think Borg's going to roll here and look impressive. And I really want to see Borg go ahead and take a step up after this fight if he does get a win. And this is also going to be our 5 dimes consensus bet of the week. We have a parlay of Ray Borg and Frankie I Saw the Signs at plus 115. So that's going to be our 5dimes.eu consensus bet of the week. So check out 5dimes.eu for your best MMA lines.
And who cracked that shit for us?
Oh yeah. Do you have some kind of thing that Jeremy sent to read?
No, but we'll pimp it out anyways.
Yeah. If you guys aren't familiar, you need to talk to Jeremy and his someone else talk. I don't know what to say.
It's his Twitter handle is Super Sart, not Super Sartre.
What's the website? I don't know the website.
GambleProSheets.com is the
that's easy.
The sheet and the website and Twitter handle and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've seen a lot of things that people have used to track bets, and this is by far the best. And Jeremy, we're going to have an intervention for him in Nashville because he is addicted to updating the sheet and making it better. So, but yeah, we're going to take care of that in Nashville. But it's an awesome thing to track, not just MMA but every sport.
Yeah, and it really is awesome. I've been using it since like he first came out with it and put out the all sports version, everything like that. It's really, really, really good. It tracks everything you could ever possibly imagine, does all the work for you. So it's really great. And we're gonna have Jeremy on sometime over the next 3 weeks to kind of talk about it. And we'll run some kind of special where you can get a discounted price with, using MMA Analysis, something like that. But it's seriously really great. You guys all need to check it out. Now, moving on to the middleweight division, we have Chris Camozzi versus Tom Kong Watson. Jay?
Both these guys are D pluses. This is going to be a stand-up action fight. That's what both of these guys like to do, and this is what both these guys want to do. The difference is that Tom Watson, I think, is technically the better striker. I think he'll get inside of Camozzi, and he'll fight, in a phone booth, and he'll score that way, and do enough to get a decision here. The other thing here in this fight is that Camozzi just doesn't hit as hard as Tom Watson does. Tom Watson is the heavier striker. I think that will also play a part in the judges' scorecards. So it will be competitive for sure, but I think Tom Watson should actually be the favorite, a slight favorite in this fight, and that's why I'm betting Tom Watson for a unit here. I think I got that at, I don't have it in front of me, but plus 135.
Brad?
Yeah, combined, these guys have lost 8 of their last 9 UFC fights, so that's pretty awesome. And the one win was Tom Watson over Lance's boy Sam Alvey.
Damn right it was.
Where Alvey just did nothing for 2 rounds and then almost knocked Watson out in the third. But yeah, I think that Chris Camozzi, well, Watson is probably the better technical striker. I think that Chris Camozzi's going to be a little bit more active. Jay, what's going on in your house? Don't have kids, ladies and gentlemen. Don't have kids. But I think Chris Camozzi is going to be a little bit more active. Tom Watson is very, very bad defensively, and I think he's starting to hit that age where the chin's starting to go. He's not as durable as he once was. So I don't think he's going to get finished, but I think Chris Camozzi can hit him enough times to make it count, win a decision, maybe even get some takedowns here, because Watson can't defend takedowns either.
Sean?
Yeah, this could be a fun fight. It should definitely be back and forth. Both these guys are definitely at the end, so you can't really tell what you're getting. I think Jay's right. I think Watson on the inside is probably where most of the damage will come from. But don't be surprised if Watson gasses out and gets pushed backwards and gets hit with kind of inconsequential combos repeatedly. No bet on this fight, but for those interested, probably nobody. The last bet that I cut was the over on this fight, because I see this going to decision regardless of the winner.
I like Watson here. I mean, I pretty much bet against Chris Camozzi anytime he even thinks about going into a cage. I bet against him, which has been very profitable because the guy basically loses every single fight he ever fights. What is he on, a 5-fight losing streak in the UFC?
Yeah, he is.
Is that right?
Well, it's at least 5. Is it going to be more? I don't know. It might be more.
Yeah, so this will be 6. I like Watson here. He's better looking for sure. Definitely a better looking guy. Cool nickname. I really like Kong. I think that's a cool nickname. He likes outfits, long walks in the park. So, nice abs as well, good smile. So I like Tom Watson. Is that good?
Yeah,
good enough.
That could break down, but yeah. I think he beats him up with knees. I think he's good against the clinch, puts him against the fence, boxes him up. I think as bad as his takedown defense is, Camozzi's takedowns are equally as bad, so I think this one takes place in the feet. And I just think Tom Watson is the better striker, so I'm going to take Tom Watson here. Moving up now to the heavyweight division. Jared Rosalt versus Timmy Johnson.
I got a Rosalt D+, Timmy Johnson.
Oh, come on, a D+.
And a D for Timmy Johnson?
D+ is outrageous.
No, it's not.
Rosalt is 4-1 in the UFC. Give the man some respect.
How many of the guys has he beaten are actually still in the UFC?
Give the man some respect.
He's 4-1 in the UFC.
What's his best win?
Who cares? He's 4.
So Paleli.
What is Ray Borg's best win? What's his ranking?
You're missing the point.
No, what do you mean? That's the point. That's the point. You just made the point.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Okay, Lance.
I mean, shit. He's 4-1 in the UFC.
Yep. Against scrubs.
Ray Borg is a D too. Then
Josh Cuddly Bear Copeland is not a scrub. Thank you very much.
Sure is. He sure is a scrub. Okay, if we're gonna do that, okay, who is Jared Rosholt beating? Walt Harris?
Yeah, are you ready for this?
Lance are Walt Harris, Daniel Soa Palele, and Josh Copeland. The best guy he's beating is Palele.
And I counter with Ray Borg is beating Chris Kalidas and Shane Howell.
Yeah, Chris Kalidas is better than any of the guys that I mentioned first of all.
Of course they are.
Sure he is.
They're flyweights. They're all better than any heavyweight.
So is way more credentialed and had a better career.
So sucks.
Well, duh. But so does Kalidas. You can't just because the guy hasn't fought anyone good. I mean,
D Houlihan?
D plus.
Yeah, D plus. But yeah, every time I see Jared Rosholt fight, I get worried because part of me thinks that he wants to prove that he can be an all around fighter and he wants to fight on the feet more than he certainly should, and that's when he gets himself in trouble in fights. If he does what he does best, which is wrestle and control guys on the ground, he's very effective. But not 100% sure that happens here or anywhere, and therefore I can never be comfortable betting him in a fight. So I won't do that. So I'll take Jared Rosholt. Most likely thing here is that Rosholt will actually win a decision. Johnson tires, and Rosholt gets that decision, but I will not bet it. Sorry.
Brad?
Yeah, this is a pretty easy fight for me. I think that Timmy Johnson, he is not all that great. He has a little bit of power, but it's not like he's a good striker to go along with it or anything like that. And Jared Rosholt, I think he's actually a significantly better striker in this matchup. Obviously, he's got way better wrestling, and he's got a better submission game. So I think he's going to be smart. He's going to take Johnson down. He's going to beat him up a little bit in the first round. Johnson's going to get tired. Takedown's going to be real easy in the second round. And then this is heavyweight MMA, so he's going to wrap things up with a little key lock action. So Jared Rosholt, right. What's that sub prop? I think it's like plus 1,005.
It's high.
Yeah.
John?
Yeah, I have a couple bets on Rosholt here, and it's completely based on the idea that I believe that Rosholt knows that doing anything besides wrestling is a huge fucking dumb mistake. I think he must have learned this by now, and I think he'll put that to use in this fight. I think he gets takedowns when he wants them. I think he stays on top. I think I think Johnson survives this, but I think that Rosholt can stay on top, beat him up for 3 rounds, and stay out of danger the entire time. I've got Rosholt in a parlay with somebody later in the card, and I've got Rosholt by decision, 1 unit plus 165.
Yeah, I like Jared Rosholt a lot. I think Jared Rosholt, outside of his chin and his hitability, is actually pretty well rounded. I feel like his striking has gotten a lot better. Before that knockout and some of his other fights, like his striking has definitely improved a lot better. He hits hard and his striking just coming together. He has really good wrestling. It's probably some of the best wrestling in the heavyweight division, honestly, outside of a few guys. He's pretty heavy on top. Guys usually don't get up from underneath him. And he has some decent ground and pound. So, I think this is all Rosholt. I think he's gonna wear Timmy Johnson down. I think he's gonna break him down, get on top of him. And I'm with Brad. I'm seeing arm triangle or key lock here. I'm seeing something. I'm seeing some kind of submission, and we're going to go ahead and play it. We are playing Jared Rosholt by sub at plus 1,005. So that's going to be our 5 dimes prop of the week. We're going to do half a unit on that, and Jared Rosholt sub 10-1. That's a crazy line for a heavyweight fatty grappling match, right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Pretty wild. So that's what we're doing. So when this hits, we're gonna be in the stadium. We're gonna run up and we're gonna just pee all over Timmy Johnson. Just piss on him. We're gonna piss on Timmy. And I won a lot of money on Timmy Johnson in his last fight. So I apologize to Timmy Johnson for the pee. I hit Timmy Johnson knockout, Timmy Johnson round 1, like all kinds of shit. It's fun. But now he's gonna die. Right?
He's gonna go to hell. He's gonna die.
You go to hell and you die! Alright. Don't take shits in the urinals, okay? Alright, let's now move up to, Middleweight division, Derek Brunson, Sam Alvey. Smiling Sam, Jay.
Derek Brunson, B-, Sam Alvey, C-. This fight, I think, is fairly straightforward. Doing a bit of watching about Sam Alvey, he really is just pretty stagnant on the feet. He does a couple rushes forward, and he tries to clip you in those kind of bull rushes. Other than that, though, he kind of keeps his back against the cage, and he's willing to take damage. That's what he does. And for the most part, that's very ineffective. But he's faced some really poor competition lately, guys with really poor chins, and he's been able to land and score knockouts. It's a little bit of a different fight because Brunson's such an effective grappler. I think he takes Alvey to the ground and controls him there for the vast majority of this fight. I think this is a pretty straightforward fight for Derek Brunson to win. To get back on the right track and then put himself back in the top 15 discussion where I think he belongs.
Brad?
Yeah, when I was looking at this fight, I was actually shocked that apparently Sam Alvey is going to be taller and almost have the same reach as Derek Brunson. Because when I think about these fighters, I think about Derek Brunson being a big middleweight and Sam Alvey being a guy that looks a little bit soft, looks like he cut down to 170, and he has fought at 170 in the past, so obviously that's somewhat realistic. But yeah, as far as the matchup goes, the other thing that really surprised me is Sam Alvey. If you look at him statistically, it looks like he's a very active fighter, but he'll just sit there for rounds and do nothing, and he faces guys like Moutanch, so the first punch that he throws lands and he wins the fight. But against Derek Brunson, I don't think he's going to be able to sit back and pick a spot like that. Brunson's striking's improved a lot. Obviously, he's a way better wrestler. So I just see Brunson controlling the bulk of this fight. Alvey's very difficult to finish. So I think Brunson by decision is the way to go here.
John?
Yeah, you can, take the Alvey knockouts and throw him out the window. Forget about him. Because what he is a guy who's perfectly fine with doing nothing. He backs up against the cage and stands there. He's imminently hittable by anything that you throw at him. And doesn't do much. It doesn't block his face. He punches hard. Congratulations. And on the other side, take Brunson's wrestling and throw it out the window, because that's the biggest advantage in this fight. That's how this fight's going to go. He's going to hold him down and beat him up and probably get a finish that way. That's what I think. But if that doesn't happen, Brunson's still a better striker. He's more explosive, he's quicker, he's more varied. The only issue about this fight is Alvey's power versus Brunson's chin. That can happen in this fight, that can happen in any fight, but it's not happening this time. Biggest bet of the weekend for me is Signs Brunson. That's 4 units plus 152.
Yeah, I like Alvey. I want Sean to lose.
Yeah.
I was
not going to happen.
When the line first came out and Alvey was like plus 160, I didn't even think about it. I mean, the line's up to plus 350 now, and Derek Brunson doesn't have the best chin, and, Alvey doesn't throw a lot, but when he connects, he throws fucking hammers at your head. The guy has legit one-punch knockout power, and he might be tentative, and that's very true, and that happens sometimes, but if he lands one clean punch on Derek Brunson, he can get him out of there, and I think he has a good shot at happening. I know he's going to get taken down, and that's for sure. But when this fight's in the feet, Derek Brunson's going to be in trouble, and I think Sam Alvey can land that shot and put him out. So I took Sam Alvey and I put I think 3/4 a unit on him. All right, let's move up now to the co-main event of the evening as we have Beneil Dariush versus Michael Johnson. Jay?
Michael Johnson B+, Beneil Dariush B. Both these guys have really improved over the last couple of years. Two of the most improved fighters in this division, certainly. I still laugh at betting Reza Madadi at almost plus 300 and seeing him sub Michael Johnson in Stockholm. That was a laugh. That wasn't that long ago. And Beneil Dariush being KO'd by Ramsey Nijum. So both these guys, since those losses have been on a real tear. I don't think either fighter has actually lost since then, now that I think about it. So, this is an important matchup in this division, between two rising fighters. Michael Johnson is certainly the better striker. He's he's definitely become one of the best strikers in the division. Outstruck, an excellent Edson Barbosa. Beneil Dariush, striking's improving, but his grappling's really effective. And he's really mixed up his game. I think this is a pretty close fight. I understand why Johnson is favored, and I'd favor him slightly as well, because I think ultimately he keeps this fight on the feet. But there's just something holding me back here. I mean, the guys, that have been training with, Verdum and Dos Anjos, like Dariush, they've just been on such a tear. It's really hard to bet against them. So I'm going to sit back and, really enjoy watching this one.
Bet.
Yeah, the big thing that I take away from this is Michael Johnson's pressure. Guys just can't deal with it at all. And Beneil Dariush, his biggest weapon on the feet is that he's a southpaw, so it's his left body kick. And against another southpaw and a guy that's going to push forward and keep pushing forward relentlessly throughout the fight, that's going to take that weapon away from him, and it's going to turn this into basically a boxing match unless Beneil Dariush can get takedowns, and I don't think his wrestling is good enough. So that means it's going to be a boxing match. Michael Johnson's going to be the one moving forward. Beneil Dariush is going to be trying to circle out and avoid the punches, and I don't see that going too well for him. Like, Ramsey Nijum was able to KO this guy, and it's not because Ramsey Nijum's a super hard hitter or anything like that. Dariush still isn't great defensively, despite the improvement in his striking, and I'm not sure that his chin's all that great either. So I look at something like the Johnson TKO prop at plus 285, and I think that definitely has some legs. But even if that doesn't hit, I think Michael Johnson's just going to basically replicate what he did against Edson Barbosa. Maybe a little bit more tentative to avoid those takedowns, but he's going to win this fight, I think.
Yeah, Sean.
Yeah, such a super weird close fight, and mine and Brad's opinions are so markedly different. I think that body kick works great for Dariush. I think that body kick lets him get the distance and lets him stay away from the rushes. And I also think it lands, and I think it slows Michael Johnson down. For every time you talk about Nijum knocking Dariush out or Nijum being hurt by Brenneman, you've got numerous times you can cite Michael Johnson getting taken down and subbed like it was easy. When you match these two guys up, I think the biggest difference, the biggest attribute is Dariush's jiu-jitsu. I think that's where this goes. I think that's Michael Johnson's biggest weakness. I think Dariush gets this done, subs him inside the distance, probably mid-second round or so. I've got one unit on Dariush inside the distance, plus 279.
I think this is a completely different Michael Johnson than what we've seen. We saw in, the bottom of his career of, getting subbed by, Reza Madadi just a few years ago. But I think he's just a completely different fighter. His takedown defense has gotten a lot better. I mean, this guy's not a bad wrestler. I think he wrestled in college even. Like, he's not a terrible wrestler. He just does stupid stuff. But we haven't seen that stupid stuff in a while. If you look at his last 4 fights, he hasn't done, very, very much stupid stuff. Like, he's getting better. His hands are so good right now. And when he keeps fight standing, he just picks you apart, lands bomb after bomb, and he's so technical on the feet. And I don't think Dariush is as good a wrestler as people are making him out to be. I really don't even think he's a better wrestler than Michael Johnson, to be honest. And I don't think this fight hits the ground. If it does, yeah, I mean, Dariush could sub him, but let's not act like Michael Johnson hasn't improved. Let's not act like he hasn't gotten better on the ground, that all he's doing
it's probably just like Magny.
Yeah. I don't think so, because we've seen him fight, good guys in the ground. We've seen him fight good fighters, and he just continues to improve. Magny basically looked the same every fight. Michael Johnson looks better every time I've seen him. That last fight against Edson Barbosa, that was by far the best Michael Johnson I've ever seen. And
what was the last legit sub threat that Michael Johnson fought?
Joe Lozon.
Oh.
I would say he's a pretty decent sub guy. I would say Lozon probably has about equal wrestling to Dariush, and he's better on the ground. And, probably
he's ancient.
Yeah, I don't agree there.
This is
he's ancient.
This was 2 years ago. I mean, he's not that ancient.
He was ancient 2 years ago.
Well, all I know is Dariush got knocked out by Ramsey Nijem, who's like the worst striker on planet Earth.
Dariush is a better striker than Lozon.
I don't...
Those leg kicks are pretty nasty.
Lozon took a round off Ally Quinta in striking.
Yeah, I don't think I agree with that even like in the slightest.
Okay.
Like not even.
You don't have to agree, but it doesn't mean it's not true.
I mean,
find out.
Lozon has dropped and hurt guys and finished guys in the feet. And Dariush got knocked out by Ramsey Nijem.
Okay, and your boy just got subbed by Reza Madadi. We can play MMA math all day. One fight doesn't mean everything.
I think Michael Johnson's just a completely, utterly different person in the last 2.5 years. I think he's just a different fighter. So I think Michael Johnson's going to go in style on him. I think this is a step down for Michael Johnson, and I think he's going to just roll right through Dariush. Let's now move on to the main event as we have Glover Teixeira versus Ovince St. Preux.
Man, I don't know what to make of this fight. I got both these guys to be, I thought Glover was going to turn the tide after, his last fight, but then you hear he's back to training in his basement again, and you just don't know. I mean, how can you ever trust a guy who fights in a Connecticut basement? I mean, you can't. You can't trust. I mean, have you ever been to Connecticut? Yeah, no. Exactly.
The whale.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. They wear. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it anymore. There's no tough guys from there. So. And Ovince St. Preux is fighting in front of what's essentially a hometown fight for him. Yeah, he's from Knoxville, but this is his home state, and I think they want OSP to get a big win here, and be built into a potential top 5 kind of guy, especially as this division continues to get older and older. So Glover's past. What's Glover? 36 years old. Still training in the Connecticut basement against a guy who's 31, much superior athlete, and can strike. So I'm gonna lean towards OSP getting the win here, but we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna bet it though.
Yeah, this is I think it's a pretty tricky one. Just if you look at the skills, I think Glover is definitely the more skilled fighter. If you look at athleticism, that favors St. Preux, obviously. He's black and all, so that has something to do with it. St. Preux's fighting at home. Apparently, even though Glover's been training in his basement recently, he was training with ATT for a bunch of this camp. He stayed in shape after his last fight, so those are good signs. As far as the age goes, I kind of throw that out when it comes to heavyweights and when it comes to light heavyweights, because those guys tend to peak in their mid to late 30s as opposed to lighter weight guys who are, late 20s, early 30s, that sort of range. So I'm not too concerned about Glover being 35, 36 in that range. I just think at some point, if this hits the ground, Glover is a significantly better grappler than Ovince St. Preux. And we've already seen that he's a fairly good wrestler. He can take a shot pretty well, so I think he can withstand what St. Preux has on the feet and eventually drag this one to the ground where it's not all that surprising if he manages to lock up a submission.
Yeah, Sean?
Yeah, can we follow the breadcrumbs on OSP real quick? Even us on this podcast, OSP does nothing. He stands away and throws kicks that don't land. He throws punches that come up 3 feet short. He gasses out for no reason. He can't stop a takedown. We just shit on OSP for about 2 years. Okay, he's terrible. What is the thing that spun us around on OSP?
Glover training in a garage,
like an over the back knockout of Shogun, and all of a sudden now we think that OSP has a shot here. He doesn't. He's terrible. He's still that guy. He just doesn't do anything, and then he gasses out from doing nothing. He knocked out Shogun. It doesn't mean anything at all. Glover, lost to John Jones, went the distance, pretty fucking good, and then got out wrestled and gassed out from Phil Davis. Okay. That's legit shitty. Looked bad that time out. I think we were all on Davis anyway. This time around, it's just a bad matchup for OSP. Can he knock out Glover? No. Can he take Glover down and do something to him down there? No. It's a 5-round fight. He's got to have a gas tank. He won't. This is Glover pushing him up against the cage, looking like the John Jones fight, landing those uppercuts, landing short punches. I know that John Jones wanted to stay there. This is a different story, but Glover will keep him there on purpose, hit him with those, drag him down to the ground, have long periods of this fight in top control, and eventually step over, arm triangle, foaming, done. I got 2 units on Glover and Rochelle. That's plus 146.
Yeah, I am opposite of Sean here. I do like OSP. I just think Glover's done. I think, he kind of got to the UFC at a later age. He fought his way up, looked good, got to the title shot, got beat, realized he wasn't going to get back, and then just basically stopped training. Stopped working as hard, stopped doing what he was before, started training half his time in Connecticut by himself instead of full camps at good camps like ATT. And I feel like he just kind of gave up, and he's 36 now, and he doesn't seem like he's taking it seriously. And OSP is young, he's hungry, he's athletic. It's 5 rounds. I don't know. I feel like OSP is going to be more active.
He's not
I think
that
this
young.
fight's
He's
gonna,
32.
He's 32, but he hasn't been fighting very long. He's fight young, for sure. And I just think Glover's past his prime. I think he's done. I don't know if maybe Glover retires after he loses this fight. I don't know. But I like OSP. I took him at plus 100, for about a unit and a half. So, yeah, I like OSP here. But this will be a fun card. I think we're gonna enjoy it. It's not like last card we have a bunch of stingy veterans and old zombies. We have a lot of young, hungry guys. So, yeah, I'm excited for this card. I'm excited to see all you guys. If any of you listeners are in Nashville for the fights, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to meet up with you guys, and appreciate listening this week. And I guess I won't talk to you guys for a couple of weeks. I'll be on Twitter off and on. But thanks everyone for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool.
Okay, I gotta go.
OSP's gonna get beat up.
Maybe.
Full story.
He is. He's gonna get beat up.
Okay, I gotta go.
For sure.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.